I am Huston Smith, Professor of Philosophy at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and I invite you to a conversation arranged by the Blaisdell Institute of Claremont, California, with Krishnamurti, who was raised by Annie Besant and the Theosophists to be a world teacher, and who, though he discarded the mantle of Theosophy, did indeed become a sage of our century, one whose voice is heard as much by the youth of today as throughout the world for the last 60 years. Krishnamurti, it may be that this morning I will have only one question, which in one way or another I'll be coming back to in various ways. In your writings, in your speaking, time and again you come back to this wonderful little word, lucid, and lucidity. But is it possible, living as we are in this confused and confusing world, torn by conflicting voices without and conflicting passions within, with hearts that seem star-crossed and tensions that never go? Is it possible in such a life, in such a world, to live with total lucidity? And if so, how?
I wonder, sir, what you mean by that word, lucid. I wonder whether you mean clarity.
That's what first comes to mind,
Yeah.
Yes.
Is this clarity a matter of intellectual perception, or is it a perception with your whole being, not merely a fragment of your being, but with the totality of one's own being?
Certainly has the ring of the latter. It's the latter.
So it is not fragmentary. Therefore, it's not intellectual or emotional or sentimental. And so, is it possible in this confused world with so many contradictions and such misery and starvation, not only outwardly but also inwardly, such insufficiency psychologically, outwardly there are so many rich societies, is it at all possible for a human being living in this world to find within himself a clarity that is constant, that is true in the sense, not contradictory? Is it possible for a human being to find it?
That's my question.
Your question. I don't see why not. I don't see why it shouldn't be found by anybody who is really quite serious. Most of us are not serious at all. We want to be entertained. We want to be told what to do. We want someone else to tell us how to live, what this clarity is, what is truth, what is God, what is righteous behavior, and so on. Now, if one could discard completely all the authority of psychological specialists as well as the specialists in religion, if one could really deeply negate all authority of that kind, then one would be relying totally on oneself.
Well, now I feel like maybe right off I'm contradicting what you're suggesting, because my impulse after you've said that it seems to you that it is possible to achieve this lucidity, my impulse is to ask you immediately, how?
Wait, sir.
But you say, am I looking to authority?
No,
if I do
no.
that?
What is necessary is the freedom from authority, not the how. The how implies a method, a system, a way trodden by others, and someone to tell you, do this, and you will find it.
Now, are you saying with this that it's an inappropriate question to ask you how this lucidity is to be achieved?
No, not at all, sir. But the how implies that. The how implies a method,
And
a system. And moment you have a system and a method, you become mechanical. You just do what you're told. And that's not clarity. It's like a child being told by its mother what it should do from morning till night. And therefore it becomes dependent on the mother or the father, whatever it be, and there is no clarity. So, to have clarity, the first essential thing is freedom. Freedom from authority.
And I feel in a kind of bind because this freedom is attractive too, and I want to go towards that. But I also want to pick your mind and ask you how to proceed. Am I moving away from my freedom if I ask you how to proceed?
No, sir, but I'm pointing out the difficulty of that word, the implication of that word, the how.
Yes.
Not the one is wandering away from freedom or any other thing of that kind, but the word how implies intrinsically a mind that says, please tell me what to do.
And I ask again, is that a mistaken question? Is that a wrong question?
I should think that's the wrong question, the how. But rather if you say, what are the things, the obstructions that prevent clarity, then you can go into it. But if you say right from the beginning, please, what is the method? There have been dozen methods, and they've all failed. They have not produced clarity or enlightenment or a state of peace in man. On the contrary, these methods have divided man. You have your method and somebody else has his method, and these methods are everlastingly quarreling with each other.
Are you saying that once you abstract certain principles and formulate them into a method, this becomes too crude
That's
to
right.
meet the intricacies of
The
life
intricacies and
situation,
the complexities and the living quality of clarity.
so that the how must always be immediate from where one stands, the particular individual?
I would never put the how at all. The how should never enter into the mind.
Well, this is a hard teaching. It may be true, and I'm reaching for it, and yet I don't know that it's possible. I don't feel that it's possible completely to relinquish the question how in every
So I think we'll be able to understand each other if we could go a little slowly, not into the how, but what are the things that prevent clarity?
All right, fine.
Through
Sounds
negation,
good.
through negation, come to clarity, not through the positive method of following a system.
Fine. All right. This is the via negativa.
Via negativa,
Approach through the
Yeah.
back door. That's
Yeah.
good.
I think that's the only way.
All right.
The positive way of the how has led man to divide himself, his loyalties, his pursuits. You have the how of yours and the how of somebody else and the method of this and they're all lost.
Fine.
So
All right.
if we could put aside that question, the how, for the time being,
All right.
and probably you'll never put it afterwards,
Right.
and I hope you won't.
Well, that's the